Morning, everyone. This is our project-based learning, the doings of a killer. To kill someone or to murder is the worst crime a person could commit in their life. So, what is a serial killer? To make it simple, a serial killer is a person who murders 3 or more people. While most authorities set a threshold of 3 murders, others extend it to 4 or lessen it to 2. Serial killers are assumed to kill for motives such as sexual compulsion or recreation. In many cases, the killings are said to give the murderers a sense of power, which may or may not be sexual in nature. The goal of these projects are: what drives a serial killer to kill, and why is kill an option? The two pressing questions are: what causes someone to be a serial killer? Their backstory, their nature, the psychopaths and the sociopaths. And second, why do they want to kill? The timeline of this project is: the first 2 days we use it to choose a theme, which is serial killer. The next 3 days we use to determine the essential questions and goals. Next 5 days we use it to write the proposal, which we have sent it to our teacher. The next 2 weeks we gather information from various places. For the last week, we made the presentation and recorded this presentation, and then we'll submit the video. Before we go into the main points, the stereotypical serial killers are beings that are reclusive and social misfits who live alone, but that is not true. The majority of serial killers are quite the opposite. Many serial killers hide in plain sight within their communities. Serial killers are often have families and homes, and are gainfully employed, and appear to be normal members of the community. Because many murderers can blend it so effortlessly, they are oftentimes overlooked by law enforcement and the public. Number 1. What makes a serial killer? As the famous FBI agent said, genetic loads the gun, personality and psychology aims it, and your experiences pull the trigger. Now I will pass it on to Kwok Tze-Ling.
The first reason is anger. Anger is a motivation in which an offender displays rage or hostility towards a certain subgroup of the population or with society as a whole. Secondly, we have criminal enterprise. Criminal enterprise is a motivation in which the offender benefits in status or monetary compensation by committing murder that is drug, gang, or organized crime related. Next, we have financial gain. Financial gain is a motivation in which the offender benefits monetarily from killing. Examples of these types of crimes are Black Widow killings, robbery, homicides, or multiple killings involving insurance or welfare fraud. Ideology. Ideology is a motivation to commit murders in order to further the goals and ideas of a specific individual or group. Examples of these include terrorist groups or an individual who attacks a specific racial, gender, or ethnic group. Next, we have power or thrill. Power or thrill is a motivation in which the offender feels empowered and/or excited when he kills his victims. Following up, we have psychosis. Psychosis is a situation in which the offender is suffering from a severe mental illness and is killing because of that illness. This may include auditory and/or visual hallucinations and paranoid, grandiose, or bizarre delusions. Lastly, we have sexually based. Sexually based is a motivation driven by the sexual needs, desires of the offender. There may or may not be overt sexual contract reflected in the crime scene. As the famous serial killer Ted Bundy says, "I don't feel guilty for anything. I feel sorry for people who feel the guilt." The second question is, why is killing an option for them? Now I will leave it on to Ko Qian-Hui.
The first one is lust. Paul raped and murdered at least 7 young women. Sex is the primary motive of lust killer, whether or not the victims are dead, and fantasy plays a large role in their killings. Their sexual gratification depends on the amount of torture and mutilation they perform on their victims. The sexual serial murderer has a psychological need to have absolute control, dominance, and power over their victims, and the infliction of torture, pain, and ultimately death is used in an attempt to fulfill their need. They usually use weapons that require close contact with their victims, such as knives or hands. As lust killers continue with their murders, the time between killing decreases or the required level of stimulation increases, sometimes both. The second one is comfort, also known as profit. Material gain and a comfortable lifestyle are the primary motives of comfort killers. Usually, the victims are family members or and close acquaintances. After a murder, a comfort killer will usually wait for a period of time before killing again, to allow any suspicions by family or authorities to subside. They often use poison, most notably arsenic, to kill their victims. Female and serial killers are often comfort killers, although not all comfort killers are female. Next is thrill. The primary motive of a thrill killer is to induce pain or terror in their victims, which provides stimulation and excitement for the killer. They seek the adrenaline rush provided by hunting and killing victims. Thrill killer murder only for the kill. Usually, the attack is not prolonged and there is no sexual aspect. Usually the victims are strangers, although the killer may have followed them for a period of time. Thrill killer can abstain from killing for long periods of time and became more successful at killing as they refine their murder methods. Many attempt to commit the perfect crime and believe they will not be caught.
Through this project, we were given a chance to explore beyond the classroom, and we are really grateful of that. Taking this advantage, we're able to learn more about serial killers. During this period of time, we reached out and gathered information from newspapers, blogs, media posts, and crime documentaries, which may or may not have resulted some sleepless nights. At the end of the day, we are glad and gruntled of what we have learned. If given the opportunity, we would love to go more in depth in this topic. This project includes me, Ao Xiaoyi, Ko Chen Hui, and Kwok Ziling. We thank you for your time.
Thank you.